Okay, Paul and I would like to welcome you back. We got series of interviews and webinars with special guests, and today we have Washington Spirit head coach Richie Burke. Richie's been in place at Washington since December 2018 and has great connections in the Northern Virginia soccer community with Virginia Royals, and also overseas with Livingston in the Scottish First Division. So Richie, welcome. We appreciate you taking the time out with us to share some of your views for our youth technical leaders in the state of Virginia. So welcome.
Thanks very much for inviting me. It's good to see you and Paul. I'm sure we'd both like to be out on the training ground somewhere, but unfortunately we're in this environment, and I'm happy to help out in any way I can. You're right, I've got quite a few connections in this Northern Virginia area, a lot of good friends in the game, and anything we can do to give back is important, I think.
Great, great. Well, let's get right into it. We wanted to ask you some questions so that the people who run clubs can get some additional information on, qualities of players, qualities of coaches. And we wanted to start with your staff. So you've had the luxury of picking staff overseas in Scotland, picking staff here. What do you look for with your staff? You look for technical, you look for humor, you look for honesty, loyalty. What is it that you look for in staff that helps you and helps the club?
It's a great question, and we could have a real diverse number of answers. But personally, myself, I always like to surround myself and pick people who are better than me in certain areas, preferably more than one area, so that if you as a leader, if you stop growing and you stop developing, then your leadership stagnates. And I believe that having people surround you who are better in certain areas helps you. It's a two-way street. They can perhaps learn from your leadership, and you can definitely benefit from their abilities. So, number one, competency. Number two, a strong work ethic. And number three, integrity, and integrity is about loyalty too. So, if you've got those qualities in your staff, then you can decide, okay, we're on the same page. We have a buy-in here. We're completely unified and understanding that we're working together. Now, what do we want to create our product? How do we want to create this product? And can it be universal so that when our optics are telling us, oh, we like this player, we want to bring this player, we want to help this player, we're on the same page. We're not looking at it from different angles, but, they are adding in some qualities that you perhaps don't have. My staff, there are so many areas of our operation that they are better than me. They're more proficient than I am, but I think overall it helps our product get better. And if you're not getting better and you're stagnating, then it's a problem in leadership. Leadership is very much a two-way street.
Yeah. So sorry, just on that, like with your technical staff, do you allow dissent or a different point of view behind the scenes? Do you think that's healthy? Do you think do you look for people that agree with you all the time, or how do you handle that with your staff?
You're right. Absolutely not. I don't want people to agree with me all the time. This is not a dictatorship. This is a quorum. Our ideas have to be shared, and you have to be comfortable enough to say, hey, hang on a second, Gordon. Respectfully, I disagree with that. How about we think about it this way? How about we think about it that way? And if you are so locked into your own thinking, then you stop to be broader in your mindset. And I like people to give different opinions. Absolutely. If we don't do that, then I think we become locked in our thinking, and we no longer move in a broader area. But dissent is not something that I encourage. Sometimes arguments, I've been in plenty of, on as an assistant coach as well, in arguments that get heated. But I think if you are able to get beyond that and past that without it getting malicious and nasty, then I think you can benefit.
Okay, thanks. Pablo, you got something for Richie?
Yes, Richie, I've had a number of discussions about how you build your roster, and
yeah,
we're challenged right now. I'm sure you are. You were down in Florida for a little bit when all this kind of hit, right?
Yeah, we were. Yeah.
So when you're looking at building your roster, your ability to pull culture in, what are some of the things that you do to establish a healthy culture within the team, especially when you got players from different backgrounds and all those type of things? What are some things that you've been doing?
I'm really, really, really big. One of the biggest things for me is a mood contagion. You know, you have to create a mood contagion every single day in the football club. Our players, and you've been around our football club, they come in the morning and they'll catch me singing, they'll catch me joking, they'll catch me in a really good spirit. I don't want them to walk into the football club and they take a look at a dour, miserable, unhappy coach, because I think that sets the mood. But if you're upbeat and you're happy and this is a great environment to be, you know, we tell our players all the time, and our work ethic is something that, or our ethos is something that they have a buy-in for. They don't serve us, we serve them. And it's the same in youth football. If you believe that the players are serving you and you're not serving them, then you've got it about face. You need to redirect that one. And I want our players to know when they come into our football club, we are here as a staff to get the best out of you. That's our job. And if getting the best out of you means starting you off in a positive mood and a happy place with a laugh and a joke, and I'll always pick on something where, you know, I can have a little pop at them in the morning to get them going a little bit. And we have a timetable in particular. They arrive after 9 o'clock, they get fined. It's not a massive fine, but it's a fine. And I'll be waiting there around about 9 o'clock, looking at the watch, thinking, "Oh yes, $5 in the pocket now." And you know, right away it gets everybody going in a pretty good mood. And so a mood contagion is really important for me. And then after that, you know, you have to have a defined plan in place. How do you really want to play? You know, what type of players do you want to bring into your football club? And not just in terms of character, but in terms of personality on the field and off the field. Those things are important to create the culture and the environment that you want to achieve your target.
Yeah, that's interesting. The last time I was up with you, we were talking about some current American players that are playing in other countries that you've had your eye on, and looking at that. How did you go through that process? And now you're bringing in people from different backgrounds. Are there some catch things that you look for in players?
You know, and it feeds into what Gordon asked a little bit earlier about bringing staff in that are better than you in certain areas. Tom Torres has an unbelievably strong work ethic. He's a workaholic, and you know, I pride myself on watching video and we're looking at players, but I must watch maybe a tenth of the video that he watches, and he knows me well enough to, and he and I have the same similar mindset on players. He will be looking for specific things that they'll do in a game, certain actions that they'll perform consistently in a game, and he will say, "Well, that's one that we'll fancy. Let's put that into a different category and look at that." You know, and we've had the same mindset with looking at players coming out of college. So we've looked at a lot of game film from college players in our draft process, but we also try to get players who've you know, and unfortunately in our league there's only 9 teams, so that's a limited number of roster spots. But There are way more players in this country that can play professional football outside of those 9 teams. So how do they continue their career? Are they lost to the game? But you know, the real soccer junkies, the real ones who want to be professionals, they'll go overseas and try and hone their skills and refine their game overseas in a different environment, a completely different environment. And if they survive and succeed, they're the ones that we feel have got the real character, the real piece that can come back and play for us in this league.
What about how are you staying connected with your team right now, being in this lovely situation that we're in? Obviously, being safe is number one, taking care of your family, but what about connecting with the culture piece?
You know, I get texts all the time from players. I get videos all the time from players. And it's great to have a relationship like that with players where they feel comfortable to send you a stupid video or a video where they perhaps don't look great, you know, just a laugh and a joke. So that's part of the mood contagion and the culture around a football club. But we made a decision, as you referenced before. We were in Sandpiper Bay, which is a fantastic resort, a great place, and ticked all the boxes for our preseason. And then the moratorium, you know, training moratorium happened for us. So we were stuck in this beautiful 5-star facility, fantastic field, but we couldn't actually work on the training ground with them. It's like being in purgatory. It was like, oh, you know, so it was a tough one, but the players were very professional about it. And we decided at that stage to come up with a plan of action so that when we came back here, we provided the support. Again, with the ethos, they don't serve us, we serve them. So there's 4 areas that we looked at: performance training, which is movement and strength. And we have all the players have an app, a mobile app on their phone that we will send workout program. Our high performance coach prescribes both a strength and conditioning workout and a movement activation workout that they do on a daily basis. And he's got them on a rhythm that we started in Sandpiper Bay. It's 2 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 1 day off. And some of the players are on a different rhythm where they're playing catch up, but more or less their movement is prescribed through the Team Builder app. We then have Tom, who prescribes technical training for them in 1s and 2s. And they're currently allowed with the league regulations to work in household training groups. So we have a couple of triples in their apartments, but mostly doubles. So Tom is prescribing activities that fits within those confines. And then we have a nutrition piece where our caterer is delivering meals to the players every day. They have breakfast and lunch that's catered for by the football club. Some of these young professionals, you know, nutrition is key to fuel up and get them to be able to train at the optimum level. And some of them, you know, don't know how to fry an egg, don't know how to cook well. So we made a commitment to bring a caterer on to make sure that we're fueling players up to train properly. And our final piece of support, the 4 areas were performance, technical training, nutrition, and sports psychology, which is a huge piece to make sure, you know, now it's like us, you know, we thrive on competition. We thrive on that activity. And it's been denied players now. They can't play matches. They can't train in that environment where it's competitive. And they don't see their teammates as regularly, the team environment. So when they are denied from them, we have to make sure we're providing the support that keeps them moving and keeps them target oriented to when we are going to play. And hopefully that's coming very soon as well.
Well, Paul and I are going to be giving you our addresses, and you can have the nutritionist swing by our place and drop them off as well. We'll be happy to participate in that.
No
Yeah, let's give you a sample, boys. See how you do with that one.